And welcome back to Baseball Barbacast. We are now very happy to be joined by one Seaver King of Wake Forest University, Demon Deacon himself. Seaver, welcome to the Barbacast. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
So I want to start with a very
I'm good,
simple.
by the way. I'm good. Normally they don't ask.
Right.
They don't ask.
Normally they don't ask how we're doing, and Seaver's like, I gotta make sure Jordan's doing okay.
Yeah.
So I want him to know I'm doing good, and even better now that he's here to talk to us about his journey.
I'm a little hungry.
Yeah, I was gonna say if we are really opening up here,
Right.
are you how? But like really,
I'm about to go eat after this. That's
You're
the
good.
next thing
Okay,
I'm
good.
doing. Yeah.
We're on the same schedule here.
So I'm going to ask you a very simple question. What position do you play?
Whatever you want me to play.
Great answer.
What position have you ever caught?
No.
Okay.
No,
So
never.
this one.
Yeah.
But what if
Take
I want
that
you?
out.
What if I want you? What if I want you to
mess
catch?
around a lot. Like I like to frame and stuff, but I don't think I could do.
Have
what
you
they
ever
do.
worn catcher's gear in your life?
For a joke? Yeah.
For a bit.
Tell me for when.
Well, I
Like,
just like the catcher's gear is laying around after practice and just put it on.
What's this like?
And
This is
just-
crazy.
what does this
Go,
feel
I
like?
think I put it on and like did the drill off the hack or something, and
Oh.
I was like, nah, this
No,
ain't
not for me.
Kinda
Not for me.
gave
Okay,
it back.
So
This is the biggest leg guard I've ever seen.
Yeah, right.
So catching probably not in your future, but I think that first question from Jake is an interesting one because when you have the ability to bounce around the field, I imagine that is a blessing and a curse because all right, great, I'm able to do it, but there's some that are maybe more comfortable than others. Has it always been like that since you were younger? Again, maybe catching was not on there, but were we bouncing around or were we just playing shortstop?
Nah, we were playing. I mean, it was shortstop, second base. It was kind of like right when I would start coming up and be second, and then like I'd kind of grow into shortstop, and then everybody else would grow and I wouldn't, and go back to second, and then kind of reach up there. And once I got to my sophomore year of college, kind of went back to shortstop. So it's been I didn't play outfield unless I was like 12, 13 years old. So playing center field this year was new to me. But it was a fun time. It was different. Just kind of a little breath of fresh air, and then kind of got to go back to what I was doing in the infield again. So,
What was the hardest thing to learn about being an everyday outfielder? What was the most difficult part of that transition?
going back and not knowing where the wall was, I guess.
Interesting.
I mean, but luckily our pitchers were pretty good when I was out there at the time, so I didn't have to worry about it too much. But yeah,
He's like Chase Burns is pitching. He's like, I'm actually going to take a
I
nap.
literally think when he pitched, I just stood there and just was like in awe.
You just sit crisscross applesauce. You're like, man,
Yeah.
this guy's good.
Right. Yeah. That's
a good-
It's like
good
with Satchel
setup.
Paige, like Satchel Paige in the Negro Leagues.
Yeah, he
He'd
would
just be
tell
like,
the infield.
I don't need my defense.
Don't worry about it.
Go take a seat.
Chase Burns basically could have done that. Obviously, at Wake Forest, you had a pretty incredible, supporting cast is the right word, but obviously the team on both sides of the ball, very talented. And of course, yes, a big part of your story is this transition from Division II to one of the highest profile Division I programs. But as Division III baseball and small school baseball enthusiasts, we got to go backwards before we go forwards here.
Right.
And I do wonder that, of course, the opportunity to play Wake Forest is something that, of course, clearly you had a positive experience and it was a good time. But let's think back to that time at Wingate or however you want to pronounce it. What do you miss? Did you miss anything this year about playing at those? Again, I know, of course, the facilities are always better, and now you get to play on national television. But are there any things that was actually that you kind of?
I don't know about. I think miss is the wrong word. I think
Sure.
I would look back at it and like more enjoy and like it was fun. It was just kind of like carefree, like literally like no pressure. You're just your friends are coming to the game. It's like friends' parents. They're tailgating it.
Right,
and
of course. That's who's there.
And students. That's
There's
like
no
literally
fans,
No,
right?
no. Like
And there's
you
no
look on the
cameras.
broadcast and there's like,
Right.
is there anybody there? And then it's like,
Right.
so it was just that fact where it was like literally you're playing for the love of the game. Like
Yeah.
nobody there is thinking they're gonna play past 4 more years.
Right.
It's just kind of we're all gonna bond over this and get through it and have fun playing baseball at that point. But yeah, it was a fun experience for sure.
Yeah. I told you earlier, I played D3 baseball. And tomorrow I'm flying to go to a bachelor party with all of the people I played college baseball with.
Right.
And when you're playing at a smaller school, very few people go to a D2 or D3 school with the sole purpose of becoming a Major League Baseball player.
Correct.
Right? At what point was that a reality for you? Right? Is it something that you always believed was possible or probable? Or was there a moment at Wingate where like it became apparent and you almost said to yourself, I need to take this not more seriously, but I need to treat this as my job and my future and not just something that you are enjoying like the rest of your teammates probably?
Yeah, I don't think that was ever kind of crossed my mind where I have to treat it as a job or anything like that. I think, we had scouts at our games all the time because our staff was one of the best in the country at the time. And, Brody McCullough and Mitch Ferris and all those guys, they're coming out to see them on Friday night, and I just so happen to be there and kind of play my game and have a good game or whatever it may be. So it wasn't, especially being a sophomore and not ever sniffing the draft out of high school and all that stuff, I didn't really care about it. Like, they're not here to see me, like, who cares kind of thing. And I would guess probably like midway through my sophomore year, and my roommates telling me, "Hey, you need to get out of here. Like, you're doing yourself a disservice." And I'm like, "Well, you say it like that, like maybe I should start thinking about it." And just started thinking about it, and it wasn't really thinking about the draft at all. I was just thinking about I've always wanted to play Division I baseball at the highest level, and now I have the opportunity to do so, and just kind of going out there and being able to play in front of fans and kind of actually have buzz around, not necessarily your name, but around your team, and have people want to come and watch you and want to do that with you. It was something I wanted to do.
I want to ask about your Team USA experience last year, because very rarely do you see a Division II player on that roster, right? And to see your name against or right next to all of the stars of college baseball, walk me through day one of that experience.
Yeah, day one, we're in the Cape, and we're getting on the bus, and me and Kalen Culpepper had played on Harwich together, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm going," and it was like a Wednesday, and I got a call, and the flight was Friday. I was like, "All right, we're going." Like, I don't know what to pack. Like, I was asking him all these questions, like, what do I do? And
because clearly, like, he's one of those kids who knew he was going to do this.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. He had the invite probably before he even got up there, so he knew he was going to go up to play in the Cape and then leave and go back. And we get there on the flight. It's Jace Laviolette, Charlie Condon, all these guys, and it was cool. Like, at that point, we were all playing the Cape. We played against each other. Like, it's not that crazy. Then you get to the hotel, and it's Jack and JJ and all those guys, and it was pretty awkward. Kind of like everybody kind of knew everybody, or if you didn't, you kind of asked where they're from and where they went to school. And I was like, Wake Forest, and they were still playing at the time, or still in Omaha at the time. I don't know if they were still playing. And they were like, "Well, why are you here?" Kind of like,
right, because it's like, if you're good enough to be on Team USA,
like,
you would think that you'd be good enough to like be on the team.
Right. So then at that point, it's like, yeah, I came from a Division II program, like blah blah blah, and they're like, "Oh, cool," or whatever, and then it just kind of got brushed off after that.
Right.
So I wouldn't say I was on my own for the first day. I think once you got to the field, that's when it kind of all changed for me. But that's when you start making friends and kind of doing that part. And then when you get back to the hotel, it's now kind of like, I kind of proved myself. They know I can hang, and now it's all the background stuff's kind of out the door, and then they kind of know me for me at that point.
Right. Now, you mentioned that adjustment and how kind of cool it was to play at a place where there was buzz for there people that want to come watch you. It was a team that really meant something to a lot of people beyond just the parents. Was there something weird about that? I mean, I want to talk about the actual on-field adjustments too, but was there something strange about, again, after the first couple of years, as you know, it's like, family's watching, couple of kids that don't have anything else to do that go to the school that want to swing by the game, to now like, oh, people are talking about me on ACC Network, or oh, people we have to worry about rankings in a much more way because there's multiple places that are ranking our team.
You're on campus and someone actually knows that you're on the baseball team.
Yeah. And again, not even necessarily from a draft standpoint, but from like a team standpoint and like what it meant to be on the Wake Forest baseball team. Was that strange?
I think the amount of buzz that was around us was cool. They obviously knew Nick Kurtz and Chase Burns and Josh Hartle, but like, I was never the guy where I'd get stopped on campus, or like anybody would know who I was. Like, to this day, it probably is a little bit like, maybe if I would go back there now after this experience season, and stuff like that. But I think going to Omaha kind of put them on the map, and just being able to play there and kind of embrace that. Who knows if I didn't really go out or anything like that. So that part, I didn't really indulge myself into the campus or anything. I was just strictly, focusing on baseball and my teammates and trying to get to know them and win games at that point. I never really have felt the, walking in public, all eyes are on me or anything like that. Like, I feel like I blend into the normal. I'm not 6'6", and
right.
Yeah,
like
I'm not
much harder.
Right, you see Nick, and you're like, oh, what? Like, I think I've had one thing where I like went to a gas station and like, what do you do for work? And I was like, well, I don't really. Like, it was kind of hard to explain, kind of thing.
Will I do for work?
Yeah, right.
That's what you're really.
So
asking me.
There hasn't been times where but like, there's definitely been times this year where little kids are coming to the game and don't know who I am, and then by the end of it, like, they know who I am and want to like talk or whatever. So
obviously, you had a lot of success on the field. Although this is true for the high schoolers that we had a conversation with Dakota Jordan, coming from high school in Mississippi. And then, all right, now we're doing it in the SEC, and what that's like the first time you face, so-and-so. For he mentions facing Paul Skeens as a freshman. I don't know if you had any experiences like that this season. Of course, you had a lot of success, but were there
he didn't have to face Chase Burns.
Well, did you have to face Chase Burns?
Yeah, I did.
I was going to say,
I
that could have been. Is that the first answer?
No, I don't think the way my game is like at the end of the day, like it's me versus you, and whatever your name is doesn't matter. Whatever my name doesn't matter. Like it's combat at that point. And
you were also on Team USA the summer before, so you would
and you had tape, and you started to see it.
Yeah, I mean, but Chase Burns is his own animal. When you're trying to gear up for 102, and he's got a pretty good slider, but no, he. It's funny in inter squads, like we weren't really getting to him, but like he wasn't being as dominant as he would be. So he against his own team was like the normal, like you see Chase Burns on TV where it's fired up. Like he was fired up at us, like punched me out and was screaming at me, and I was like, damn, what I did to you? And then the first at bat actually had I doubled off the wall on a slider, and he was like, all right, he's not getting any more sliders, and just was
no more slow stuff,
right.
Relatively slow for Chase Burns. Yeah, it's so interesting that the inter squad dynamic is something that at all levels of college baseball, I just remember talking to the kids, where I went to school, and like the very random rivalries that would kind of pop up
100%.
Where it's like, the best player on the team can't hit this random reliever, even though he's, maybe the sixth best reliever. I mean, that's such a fast, and that's all, you don't see that's all behind closed doors. You don't see those scrimmages.
And they really stick in your head forever.
Right.
When I was a senior, I was a closer, and this freshman named Brian Shooter, he just had my number. He was he just goes 3 for 4 against you throughout the fall, and then you want to hate the kid, but then you're like, oh, he's on my team, right?
Yeah. We had me and Will Ray kind of had that kind of thing,
there you go.
And it wasn't like I think I had 2 or 3 infield hits, they weren't even hits. So I'm going up the way our locker room is, I'm just going up to him I'm 3 for 3 off you. What are you doing?
Just so you know.
Yeah, but it's well, you combine 70 eggs of you. He's so it's the chirping back and forth, and we kind of had that relationship from then on out where it was just straight chirp the whole time, all the time, but that made our friendship even better. And now seeing him go up in the Cape and doing really well is just fun to watch, and we have that that banter back and forth, and it's just been good.
We've had a conversation with William Schmidt, one of the top high school pitchers here, and he was on a high school team that was ranked number 1 in the country, and he talked about how when that standard is that high up there, the talent that you're dealing with, even at a high school level in Louisiana. But I imagine at Wake Forest, that opportunity to be in a lineup with a Nick Kurtz, to get to face a Chase Burns in inter squad. This isn't just, I transferred to Division I. This is one with next level talent. Did you feel that in those inter squads, and then of course as you got to experience it up close over the course of the spring season?
It's just we always talk about at Wake Forest, we're playing the game. It doesn't matter who we're playing. So, Billy would come in and just pick somebody random and say, who are we playing today? And somebody would slip up and say, oh, we're playing Pitt today. And they'd be like, no, it's not. We're playing the game. And
so you're representing an assistant coach.
Yes. Bill Slinto, sorry.
Yep.
And it was just kind of what we would kind of go by. And it's obviously we're preparing for a certain guy at the end of the day, but when the ball's in the air, it doesn't matter who threw it. It's at that point. So you're just playing the game, and you got to get 27 outs, and you got to score one more run than the other team to win the game. So we just kind of we didn't really try to focus on who we're playing. Obviously, when it's inter squad, it's more heightened because you go home after the inter squad and you see them every day. I'm never gonna face Trey Savage and go home and talk to him like he's my roommate. You know what I'm saying? After he beat us in the regional, it's all right, I see him here. It's fun to talk about it now, but right after, it's not kind of like that. So it's just little things like that, and that's why our staff was our coaching staff was so just it got to me, and it was easy to kind of talk to him and resonate with that.
My last question for you is just off the field. When you're not, you seem like a guy who's thinking quite a bit about baseball.
Yeah.
Besides baseball, what else is filling your tank? What else is filling your tank? What else?
It's like a USA baseball reunion here. So all of us are back. So we just been in the lounge doing whatever, just kind of hanging out with the guys. During the season, the bus rides were so fun, and in the hotel room, we're all in the hotel room playing cards again. And so it's just the time off the field. I get to decompress with the guys, and then me, Kurtz, and Burns are big gamers too. I don't know about Burns anymore, but me and Kurtz still are, and it's just kind of what we do on the field. And it's constant competition. It's just constant you want to keep the same, the chirping, and you drop one kill, you're gonna hear about it, and then the next game if he does it, it's just the constant competitive nature and attitude that we have, and it just kind of made us kind of get close and have fun all the time.
When you're on the bus, right? I think being on the bus, like bus rides are a fundamental part of the college baseball experience. How do you feel that time? Like, are you like a do not sit next to me guy? Are you headphones on? Are you bantering? Are you outgoing or kind of more?
Yeah. So like we play a lot of Mafia. Was what we played. And then obviously like there's guys that don't want to play, but like if you're in the back of us, you're playing at that point, or you have to go in the front of us and switch with somebody who wants to play. So you can't just come back and kind of thing. And then towards the end of the year, like we were so not necessarily superstitious, but like if we would play Mafia and lose, like they're like, oh, we're not going to play it again, kind of thing. And so there was like we played this game called Password, and then a game called and then Mafia. So there was like a constant battle of like, what are we going to play today? And so that was fun. It was always, but like the Mafia games would get heated, and Jake Reinish is one of the better players, and we would no matter what, we'd be, Jake, what's your top 3? And he'd get up and give us this like big speech and kind of crazy thing. So it was just always something we look forward to. And like after we, lost and our season ended, it was like nobody was kind of worried about the bus ride. I was like asking, can we play Mafia? And it was just like for one last time. So like it's just a fun kind of banter and just messing with each other that we love to do.
My last question, just spinning it forward, clearly you've had this transition over the last few years from high school to D2 to D1, looking at a pro career ahead of you. What are you most excited about? What are you most looking forward to when you think about starting your professional career?
Yeah, I mean, I think my answer is unlike people. I'm excited to fail. Like I'm excited to actually learn who I am as a player and what I'm going to do when I suck, because I know it's going to come for sure. Like I'm not going to think that I'm going to fast track to the big. I'm not a Paul Skeens. Like that's not who I am, and I know that there's a lot of room for me to grow, and I feel like I have to fail for that to come up on me and become the best player possible. So I'm excited to struggle and have it to kind of figure out who I need to talk to, what I need to do to get better every single day.
Well, that's a good
Great
answer.
answer.
Good answer. Seaver King, yeah.
I fail all the time.
Yeah, still fail.
I'm failing like I can't make
we
that
failed.
adjustment.
We were late to this interview. We've failed that.
Oh.
I mean, it's just been.
I almost missed my flight here.
The failure will continue,
Yeah.
but not
for you.
You're looking forward to it.
Yes, sir.
That makes sense. Seaver King, we appreciate the time. Thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Turns out trying to get to the airport in Omaha at the same time that the game is ending, that'll delay you slightly.
Well, that was a choice.
Who would have thought?
It's poor
I had
planning
to
on
see
your part.
Cags. I want to see Cags here.